Yesterday, this guy Ali, he this is ridiculous. All these kids were this woman coming out of the mikvah, and they didn't realize dude, these kids being really We are on live. All right. Rabbi, so we're ready to go. We are live on YouTube. Everybody, please mute. Is Gary on? Ooh, nephew number 2. Where's nephew number 1? We got. Here's a riddle. I got a riddle for the Olam. Who's the uncle of the shir? I see that there's a nephew over there smiling, laughing. There's the nephew. Anybody? Nobody?
He's the uncle of the shir.
That's the uncle of the shir. That's right, that's the uncle of the shir. Any uncle that instead of taking their kids to restaurants, well, he did that also, but he shoved them in a taxi, woke them up 4:30 in the morning, tied them up, threw them in a taxi, and brought them to the shir a week in a row. That's the uncle of the year. So anyway, Rabbi Isai, it's a tremendous pleasure to let... Happy birthday to Joey. Happy birthday. Listen to this. This is unbelievable. What does a nephew get his uncle? He doesn't buy him a Gucci. All right, Rabbi Isai. That's a true uncle. You have an uncle that goes and gets gashmias. What does nephews learn from this? Our uncle wants Torah. Let's support Torah. But listen, nephews, don't get too excited. This is nice. It was a beautiful move. But next year, there's going to be a dedication in the building. Maybe all the stones, $50,000 worth of the outside stones, something like that. You know, when are you going to give me a little piece of paper with balloons for Joey? This is the uncle of the year. Rabbi Isai, you got to wait. Okay, listen, I'm not going to go too hard on you, but next year, you have a whole year to prepare for this. Today is the 24th day of the Omer. And yesterday's sponsor was Shendel Bas Nachman from Andrew Fuchs. We'll keep it on for today as well. And a friend of the shir needs a big refuah shlema. Oren Meir ben Yehudis Gittel refuah shlema. I'll put that up here. A lot of people in the shir know him. Oren Kaplan refuah shlema. What do we got here? Hi Rebelli. Shkoyach for sending this to me 20 minutes before shir starts on the worst day of the week, on Sunday, after I give shir Motzei Shabbos and hardly have time to prepare. But here it goes. It's Saul, Joey Levy's brother. I know it's super late to be counting you for Sunday morning shout out, but I'm a guy who doesn't give up without a try. He takes the message that even a blah, blah, blah. Today is Uncle Joe's birthday. We're just talking in Shabbos table what to get Uncle Joe for his birthday. The boys around the table were saying we have to do something special because Uncle Joe is so good to us. He buys us breakfast, he makes 6 cholent, he brings us to shir, he throws us in the taxi at 4:30 in the morning, the best uncle in the world. Even when he's not going to go. Joey, we have a bunch of people that, including Fischel, all these guys that when they were in Eretz Yisrael, every single morning without fail, bring a taxi to Merkaz Daf Yomi, do the daf, get back in the taxi and go home. Every single day. I think Joey was there like a week in a row, every day, schlepping different nephews, different things. Melava Malko with pizza, French fries, the list goes on, blah, blah, blah. A brainstorm of an idea popped into our heads. Joey never misses the daf, and something he doesn't stop talking about. He loves you, he loves the shir. Nothing would make him more happy than put a biggest smile on his face if he gets surprised at the shout out. Please, we're all sponsoring this morning shir in honor of Uncle Joe and his birthday. This is from all his nephews, including Ezra from Lakewood, who's driving in special for his uncle's birthday. The nephews are all staying up, and we're making the usual Melava Malka in our backyard. Yes, we're social distances, of course. Yeah, Vada, social distancing. Yeah, I saw the pictures already. Shavua Tov, thank you. Saul and all the nephews. All right. Do we have any more time?
Smoking a big fat cigar.
Joey with the cigar. Love it. All right, Uncle Joey, I was wondering where you are. All right. L'chvoid hagoin Rav Eli Stefansky Shlito. Guys, okay, whatever. Bnoi Shomarenu Hagoin Ha'amiti Atzadik Hagoin Reb Yankiv Shlita. I love it. Eli is just fine. Now he knows why I'm a gronik, because Hagoin Reb Elio. Your father Shlita is a real gronik. He would make a bracha reading Megillah. I guess he knows us. I'm not exactly sure who this is. He would make a bracha reading Megillah Shir Shirim Chalamayid when he learned it from a sitter. I think that this virus is because of you. You have started such a tremendous increase in learning, loving, enjoying Torah, that the Satan went nuts and tried to stop it with this Magefa. But Baruch Hashem, because of you and this great Chabura, he's not succeeding. Keep up your tremendous Harbatzas Torah. You're giving your mother at Tzaddikas Gewaldige Nachas and Shemayim. Besides for teaching the Daf, you're giving over Geschmack Torah v'harevna, the Zizkeit of Torah Ashrecha. You mentioned the other day about Aaron's brother, Amin's husband. He asked for the 8-minute daf. Okay, he says to keep that. Yeah, that's why when I was saying over that story that he asked for 8-minute daf, I was a little vague. I spoke about him 2 weeks before and I said more, and then I couldn't say any more. We'll talk about it at a different time. All right, please don't mention my name. Thank you. All right, let's get into the daf. I have a good friend here, social distancing, Avi Kamiansky, who usually pipes up on the screen. Now he's live, so he won't be able to pipe up. Well, he could. You can pipe up, Avi. What happened was this morning, my phone, I got up too early. I didn't sleep enough. I grabbed my phone and went flying out of my hand, hit the floor. It's done. So no YouTube. So I asked him to come over. The Kavod HaTorah came over. So thank you very much. I need a new phone. Here's my phone. It's got a badge. It's not even my phone. It was Gary's phone, lent to me because my other one was garbage. Says the Gemara. We're holding Daf Nun Ches, Daf Noyach Omid Aleph. I literally, every day I look at this and I can't believe. We just started Masechta Shabbos. We're holding Daf 58. Crazy. Time flies. We could do this. We could get through Shabbos, we get through Eruvin, and then it's smooth sailing through Shas. All right, so yesterday we were discussing Kavla. What's Kavel? Kavel, the Gemara said, must be the hat that a woman wears, and that's one shot. Says Shmuel, no. Because we had a whole shaila. How does a woman take off her hat? If she takes off her hat, she'll expose her hair. She won't want to take off her hat. But since this hat is underneath the svacha, it's like underneath the snood, so she could like rip it off, and it's not such a big deal. By the way, we have our usual Sunday morning guests from New York, the ones who stay up Motzei Shabbos. We have Shlomi Klein. Eli Dickman is here every single day anyway, but Shlomi Klein especially, he's a big star because he made a complete recovery from Corona, and he sent us pictures with the oxygen and everything. Motzei Shabbos, he works all night, but Motzei Shabbos he gets to be with us. Says the Gemara, Ushmuel Amar Kavlo da Avdotnan. So I didn't have time, unfortunately, to make a nice chart for this. I just want to give you a little bit of a outline of what we're gonna see today. Eved has a kavel and a woman has a kavel. They're two very, very different things. A kavel that the woman has, that the Gemara said yesterday, that the Mishnah is talking about a woman's kavel, that's like a wool yarmulke that fits underneath a snood. Shmuel says no. We're talking about a slave, even a shifcha, because we're talking about women can't go out, men could go out. So it goes like this. A slave, they had a little emblem that said on it, slave. Whatever it said, everybody knew this guy is a slave. It's to put him down, to embarrass him, to show that he belongs to somebody else.
Like the Jewish star.
Yeah, that's why I said yes, like a Jewish star. I don't know if, I didn't want to make such a comparison. You could get, anything you say that has to do with that era, you can get into trouble. But I did say it last night. But anyway, it's some sort of emblem they put over here. Now, another way to wear it, there's two ways. You could put it on your clothing, and you could put it on your neck. And there are two types. One is made out of metal, and one is made out of clay. So basically, just if we want to go through everything, and so that it has some sort of flow. If it's made out of metal, a slave, or we're talking about a woman slave, can never go out with it. Why? Because if it falls down and has a lot of value, she'll pick it up and bring it in Rosh Hashanah. That's a problem. If it's made out of clay, so there's two types. One is made by the master, and one is made by the slave himself. And there's the one made by the slave around his neck or on his baguette. So if it's made by the master, around his neck is mutter. Why? Nobody's going to remove that. No slave in his right mind is going to want to remove something that his master told him to wear to show that he's a slave. His slave is going to give it to him. He'll punish him. So he won't take it off. So you're allowed to walk with that in Rosh Hashanah. And if it falls off, there's nothing to worry about. It's a piece of cheres. It's nothing. He's not going to schlep it. Now, if the Baal Bayis put it on his clothing, that's a problem. Why? Because if you put on the clothing, look, he could just take off his jacket, fold it up, pretend that he's too hot from the heat, and he's going to want to take off his jacket so nobody sees that he's a slave. He wants to fit in. You know? A lot of people, they go outside, in America, they take off the yarmulke, they think nobody knows. They have the payas of flying area, they take off the yarmulke, whatever. So the slave also, he'll take off his thing, he'll fold it up, nobody knows I'm a slave, okay? You look like a slave, okay, but I'm not wearing the emblem that says slave. But that's if it's on the clothing. If it's on his neck, he's not going to do it. What could he do? He's not going to get away. If his master sees him with a folded coat, he might not get that upset at him. Oh, he was hot. But if he has this thing around his neck that says slave, what's his excuse? Why are you holding slave in your hand? So he'll never take that off. But if it's made by the slave, not by the master, says the Gemara, then it's always usher for him to walk out with it, or for her to walk out with it, because then she'll remove it. The master didn't give it to her to wear, to say, hey, you're a slave. I'm doing it on my own. Now I don't feel comfortable wearing it in public, so I'll take it off. That's basically the sugya. Let's see it inside. Ushmul Omar, Kavla Da'avdo. We're talking about not a tichel, a snood. We're talking about the emblem of a slave. Shmuel himself, who's saying that we're talking about this emblem of a slave, says specifically that a slave could go out with the emblem on his neck, just not on his baguette. So over here the Gemara comes up with the distinction, there's a difference. Who made it and who didn't make it? If the master makes it, he's not gonna dare take it off. The master said, put it on, you put it on. If the master catches you without it, you're in trouble. I guess they used to beat them, whatever the master has his ways to punish his slave. Won't give him food, put him in a cage, who knows what. So he won't do it. So if he does it for himself, he has a way, it's possible that he might try to take it off as he walks in Rosh Hashanah, therefore he's not allowed to go out in Rosh Hashanah. So you're telling me that by us in our Mishnah we're talking about the master made it. So how come if it's in his garment it's different? What's the difference? He's not going to take off his coat. Maybe it will fall off, and he's scared of his master, so he'll fold it up. He'll fold up his clothing, and he'll carry his clothing as if, pretending as if he's hot, so he won't get in trouble from his master. You're allowed to wear clothing in Rosh Hashanah. That's one of the things. You're allowed to wear it for protection, even for jewelry. But you can't carry clothing in your hand. If you do so, even if you put it on your shoulders and you have some sort of protection, still chayav chatas. It's a deraisa of eitzah. Who cares if it's clothing? Clothing is meant to be worn, not to be carried. And that's what we're concerned. We're concerned the difference between clothing and the neck is that clothing, you can get away with it. You can pretend he's hot. The neck, there's no way to get away with it, so therefore he'll never remove it. Therefore, you could walk with it on Shabbos. We see something similar. He told him, this is very interesting. First of all, from this sugi you just see the concept Shaloi Yosani Ovid. We say every morning, Shaloi Yosani Ovid. Imagine you're an Eved, you have to walk around with the emblem. I'm a slave. Disgusting. Who wants to do that? Here's something very funny or interesting. The Rosh Golos, like we discussed him many times, Mar Ukva was the Rosh Golos, different Rosh Golos, the head of Klal Yisrael. If you were subordinate to the Rosh Golos, you're from a certain group, all of Klal Yisrael, you had to walk around the street with an emblem, stating the fact that you're the chassid of the Rosh Golos. And if not, the Rosh Golos had his guys, all these Gemaras you see throughout Shas. He had his cops, and if they caught you not wearing the emblem, they'll beat you up silly. Avi's looking at me like, wow. It's a good thing you don't have to wear a Chaim Kanievsky kind of thing.
No, like
Put your mask on. He has his gloves, his mask, the whole thing. Yeah, what?
It's like the Hasidim. You know the guys who have the socks tucked in, they're the Ger Hasidim.
Oh, you know, there's a lot of Hasidim watching. Careful what you're saying. Hold on. Here's Avi. Hold on if you guys want to know what he looks like. Okay. He's a big fan of Hasidim.
That's just the YouTube people.
Oh. It's fine. The Zoom guys know what you look like. Forget Hasidim. Imagine Reb Chaim Kanievsky, all these Litvaks, the Reb Chaim Kanievsky, Reb Chaim Kanievsky. You would have to wear, or Reb Chaim, like let's say Reb Chaim Hagrach. It wouldn't even say Kanievsky. It would say Hagoin Reb Chaim on the thing, and you walk around. But all of Klal Yisrael, there's one Rosh Golos for everybody. Everybody. There's no different groups and this. Everybody. Hasidim, Litvaks, Svardim, Misnagdim, everybody. Tziyonim, all the Hatikva guys, all the whatever. Where are they? Yeah, these guys. They would all have to wear the same thing. It's a funny thing to think about. You all had to wear it. So he told him, where did I lose it already? You're not allowed to walk out with that clothing. Because if it falls off, you're scared. You're going to have to carry it. You're going to have to do something with it because then the Rosh Golos' cops are going to come and give it to you. They used to punish people. A few Gemaras, they hit them, they did whatever, they did stuff to them. But you, he told him, you Bar Shila is okay. Some Rishonim learn that it's like a sign that they pay the taxes, whatever. But the point is, you're very close to Rosh Golos. We know that if you don't wear that emblem, it's not because you're not subordinate to him, you're not nichvaf to him. It's because whatever happened, it fell off. So that's not a problem. But other people have to be careful not to go out like that. So he learned, according to Shmuel, a slave goes out with the emblem on his neck, that he won't take off, but not with the one on his garment. We learned the same thing. Okay. Viraminu. The problem is, it says, he says, Mefurish, he cannot go out with the one on his neck. You just said you could go out with an emblem on your neck. You're not going to remove that. Over here it says, contradiction. Now, so that's the question. Well, keep on going. They're not mekabel tuma. Why is an emblem not mekabel tuma? Well, depending on what material it is. But an emblem is not a kli. In order for it to be mekabel tumah, it has to be a vessel, it has to be a kli. It's not a kli, right? It's an emblem. It's not noi, it's not an ornament. Nobody's proud to wear it. It's disgusting. It's the opposite of an ornament. So also, not mekabel tumah. And it's not a beged. It doesn't help you, it doesn't protect you from the elements. So it's not mekabel tumah. It doesn't have the three things that are necessary. That could be one of them, not all three, but you need one of these things. It needs to be either a kli or a beged or noi. Neither of those. Again, another beautiful thing that slaves had. They had a little bell. Ding dong, wherever he walks, he has a bell. So you can't walk out with that. The bell on his garment is an ornament, and therefore he could go out with it. So both of these things are mekabel tuma. Why? Because it's an ornament. It's mekabel tuma. And the same thing for an animal. Cannot go out with an emblem on its neck. And if an animal has like some sort of blanket or dog clothes, whatever, some people are crazy enough to go, look how cute. I'm not going to talk about people in my mishpacha. If you buy clothing for your animal and it has an emblem in it, cannot go out with it. And not with a bell in its garment. Why not? So Rashi says, very interesting. Rashi says, another reason why we had this before, a bell is something you put on an animal when you want to sell it. We had this, the chinga. Remember chinga? And I said, chinga is Moroccan, and I got an email from a Moroccan who said it was so funny that I thought a china and a chinga are the same thing, because it's a market. Chinga is market, so it's usher to bring. So basically, the Mishnah Berurah brings down that we have an isser to put something on an animal because of the marketplace. We also have the isser because of a masui, it's a load. And also, an animal, what if you put something on an animal that might fall off the animal and he might come to carry it? Mishnah Berurah talks about all three, all three things and what each thing, in a different case. I see Michael Cohen's dog, look at that dog, that's a cute dog actually. All right, I thought you had a Maltese, that looks like a baby pit bull. Actually, it looks like a pit bull to me. All right, whatever. Is it? Is that a pit bull? No, not a pit bull. It says nice, cute dog. Okay. Whatever. Ayin in the Mishnah Berurah. There are times that it's not a load. There are animals that you don't bring to a marketplace. You're not going to sell a cat in a marketplace. So the issue of a cat, even a dog, maybe dog, I don't know. Whatever animals go to a marketplace, they have the isser of a bell. The ones that don't, they have an isser of maybe you'll come to carry it. On a dog, on a cat, maybe their bell will fall off and then you'll carry it. So each animal has a different reason. That's why I have three different reasons, says the Mishnah. What were you saying, Avi? Nothing. Okay, weiter. They're not mekabel tuma, not a kli, not mekabel tuma. Says the Gemara, perhaps, let's use the same distinction that we made before. This contradiction that it says, you cannot go out with the emblem on the neck, and we were learning the whole time you could go out the emblem in the neck. Maybe let's make a distinction. One is made by the master, that whole fear to take off, and therefore you're allowed to go out and just around with it. The other one is talking about that he's made by himself, so he's doing his master a favor. He wants to show that he's a good slave. Look at me, even I wear an emblem, but if I take it off, my master's not going to kill me for it. The master can't beat him up for taking off an emblem that he himself imposed on himself. So maybe that's a good answer. I prefer not to go to that answer, says the Gemara. I prefer to say that everything is uniform. We're talking about the master and not something that the slave did himself. And what? We're talking about, of course, something on the neck. We're talking about the neck, right? The question is neck to neck. And on the one hand, it says, we're not worried about the neck, him taking it off. He's allowed to walk in Rosh Hashanah. And the other one says, you're not allowed to. So now the Gemara says, there's enough communion between metal and clay. Metal is a valuable resource. If it falls off, you're not just going to leave it in the middle of the street. In those days, metal is metal. So if it falls off, you're going to pick it up and bring it back home and going to be over on Hoitzah and Shabbos. No metal. That's it. So that's why I started off saying, if it's made out of metal, you can never wear it. That's always a problem. But if it's made out of clay, falls on the floor and breaks, you leave it there. Nobody's going to schlep home broken pieces of clay. If it's something like clay, it's not a problem. And I can prove it to you. The Gemara has an amazing proof here. We're talking about tumah. Clay is not mikabel tumah. So it can't be talking about clay. It must be talking about metal. And once we're talking about metal, we can make that distinction. So it's saying, look, this particular ornament, an emblem that goes on the guy's neck, is not Makabel Tumah. Why? Because it's not a Kli, it's not a Noi, it's not anything. But a regular Kli made out of metal is Makabel Tumah. And if you're talking about clay, so what are you telling me? It's not Makabel Tumah. Clay is never ever Makabel Tumah. How do you do Makabel Tumah? Kalim do Makabel Tumah? What? Sometimes it is Makabel Tumah. It's never Makabel Tumah. Forget about that. It's made for a slave. If you make a kli out of clay, it's never Makabel Tumah. Batanya, this is like one of my favorite vessels. Next siyum, this is what Avi and Noam are going to get me. Clay avonim, a vessel made out of stone, or clay galalim, a vessel made out of excrements, dung. This is what they used to do in those days. They took some dung and they made a kli out of it. Don't get yourself any crazy 8-minute coffee mug. Dung here, together with the sheep. No. Clay galalim, uklei adama, ein mekablim tumah. Believe it or not, they're not mekabel tumah. All the stuff, earthenware, stones, dung, and earth, ein mekablim tumah. Let me do your not even in the Rabbanan. So it doesn't make any sense to say, oh, by the way, if a slave makes an emblem made out of clay, it's not mekabel tumah. It's never mekabel tumah. Even if you make a real full-fledged dish out of it, it's not mekabel tumah. Obviously, we're talking about metal. And if we're talking about metal, that's the concern, that you're going to pick it up and schlep it in Rishus HaRabim. Amamar. See what's going on there, Avi? See how quiet it is here?
I know.
It's like impossible. That's why it's good that you interfere sometimes. Good interfering.
I'm getting emails all day long complaining about my interference.
Okay, so you'll fix it a little bit. Where's Noam? Noam?
Right there.
I know he's here. I see him, but why don't you talk, Noam? What's going on with you? Oh, here he is.
On the chat, they're discussing how they're going to create a clay golem for you. That's why I'm just talking.
Yeah, that's why that's why I said I know how you guys think. I prefer the sheep, although you never gave me the meat of that sheep. What happened to it?
Freezer.
Still in your freezer. Okay.
Oh,
we said we're going to use it for the siyum. Masechta Shabbos Be'ez Hashem, sheep. Whoever doesn't know, in the middle of the siyum, we were sitting down, we're making a siyum in Noam's house. All of a sudden, they said they wanted to give me a gift. All of a sudden, they come in with a live sheep, literally a live sheep into the thing, and a sheikhah comes along, shechted it, and they chopped it up, showed us the meat, and they said, okay, this meat is going to be for the siyum. Since then, a couple siyum went by, and I didn't get the meat. He still says it's in his freezer. We'll see. Omar. And then he's going to buy like a 2 kilo of meat from the store and said, this is your meat. I chap. You cannot go out with a bell on his neck. There's a difference between...
I'm going to drop it off.
I don't want it. I don't want you. Better
I'm
no,
dropping it off.
please. I don't have room for it. I believe you. I promise you. Go back home. See, he's here. You better not drop it off. I'll drop it right back. Why can't you go out with a bell around your neck? It might fall off and you'll carry it. What's the difference between the one around your neck and the one on your garment? If you're worried about falling off, it'll fall off your clothing. If you're not worried about falling off, so you could go out with the one on your neck. What's the difference? What's going on here is that a professional put it together. A professional sewed it. And if a professional sews it, it's not going to fall off. Unless you have my professional that sews my stuff. Remember yesterday I told you to remember this? This one line. The Gemara is now using the same line we said yesterday in a completely different context. Yesterday we said, where's that picture? Hold on a second. This is how it works. It's back in the book. Here, you guys remember this picture from yesterday? Koishiklach. I said koishiklach, whatever I said yesterday. So anyway, that thing, Rav Huna says that it's arug. it's woven. And if it's woven, there's no chatzitza. Over here, we're using the same words for a different thing completely. And he's saying, since it's woven in, you could carry it. Nothing to do with water and chatzitza. You could carry it. He said those words, and he meant to include everything. Kolshu arug loy gazru. Anything that's woven and sewn in like that, there's no gzeira that the bell is going to fall off. But if it's on your neck, it can fall off. And if it falls off, you might carry it. Omar Mar. 5 lines from the bottom. L'teitze behema loy b'choizim shebetzavara, v'loy b'choizim shebeksusa, v'loy bezug shebetzavara, v'loy bezug shebeksusa. An animal cannot go out with an emblem, not on its neck, not on its garment, on its blanket, like we explained, v'loy bezug shebetzavara, and not with a bell on its neck, v'loy bezug shebeksusa. Okay, the zug shebetzavara, everybody knows. In Switzerland, those cows walk around with the bells. Not every cow, was every 20 cows, whatever it is. But it lets everybody know where they are. By the way, the bell of a cow, is that a kli? What is that? How do you view a bell of a cow? It's on a cow. What is it for? What purpose does it serve? So it serves the purpose of you knowing where the cow is. So what is that? Believe it or not, Rashi says, that is considered a vessel for a human being. It's not a vessel for a cow. It's on the cow to serve the owner to know where his cow is. So it's actually a kli for an adam. And that's why it's mekabel tumah. But it says like this. A mekabel tumah. It's not mekabel tumah. V'zug de behema a mekabel tumah. We're going to see. This is, I just jumped ahead to Rashi on Amud Beis. Why does a bell, why is it not mekabel tumah? V'riminu zug shel behema tameya. Yeah, you don't read a behema tameya. It's not a non-kosher. The bell of an animal is tameh. If we stop right here, we have a question. You just said that a bell is not mekabel tumah, and over here it says zug shel behema tameya. It is mekabel tumah. Okay. Now we turn the page. Daf Yomi. We're going to go through a whole bunch of different halachas, but we have to remember the question. The question is that a bell of an animal is mekabel tumah. And this is like this. V'shel deles tahira. A door knocker. They don't have them in Israel that much, but in America everybody has it, right? A bell on a door is tar. Why? Because a door is not mekabel tumah. Why is a door not mekabel tumah? Because it's part of the ground. It's attached to the house, which is attached to the ground, which is not mekabel tumah. So the bell on the door is also part of that, not mekabel tumah. Now, shaldeles, don't lose focus to the question. The question is, why is a bell of an animal, why are you telling me it's not tameh? And over here it says it is tameh. Now we're just going to say other halachas. Shaldeles v'soy lebehema. If you remove the knocker off your door and you put it on an animal, so you took something that's not mekabel tumah and you put it on an animal that has potential to be mekabel tumah if it was made directly, initially for the animal, tameya. Why? Because in my mind, I made it tameh. So I can make something from not tameh to tameh. For instance, if I am creating a bell, so in my brain, I could say right now, at this moment, I'm done with the bell. I'm not gonna sand it anymore. I'm not gonna take it. I'm done. I'm gonna sell it as is. So in my mind, I made it tameh, not tameh, susceptible to tumah. Right now, it could be mekabel tumah. So same thing. If I have a bell that's on an animal, I say, you know what? On a door, I don't want it on my door anymore. I want it in my mind. I'm saying I want it on my animal. So now once I say it in my mind, I want it for my animal, it's susceptible to mekabel tumah. Now if I take an animal bell, which is mekabel tumah, could be mekabel tumah, v'sol deles, and now I want to make it not susceptible to be mekabel tumah, that you can't do in your mind anymore. Even though you screwed it in as tight as you can into the door or banged it with nails, tameh. it's still mekabel tuma. Why? Shekol hakelim yardim l'dei tumasa b'machshava vein oilim l'dei tumasam el b'shinim ma'isa. The famous line in Shas that anything that is not mekabel tuma and I want it to be susceptible to mekabel tuma, I could do so in my mind, but the reverse I cannot do in my mind. If it's susceptible to be mekabel tuma, to take it out of that category, I cannot do it with my mind, only if I change it. Now, by putting it on a door and fastening it with a screw, did I change it? No. All I did is I took a bell and screwed it to the door. Nothing in the bell changed. The bell is the same exact bell as it was a minute ago. It's just attached to something. Okay, that's not changing. There's a fascinating Tosfos on Omid Aleph, on Unches Omid Aleph. It belongs to these lines right over here. The Tosfos says an amazing thing. If a woman takes her garment and donates it to a Sefer Torah, she says, from now on I want my tichel, whatever she wraps her head with, I want it for a Sefer Torah. So they take it and they wrap the Sefer Torah with it. Did anything change in that garment? Absolutely not. Nothing. Zero. It's the same garment that it was a minute before. And a minute before, it was susceptible to tumas medrus of a woman. Says Tosfos, now it's not susceptible to tuma because something did change. Says Tosfos, you know what changed? Now it's asur bahana. That's a change in the actual garment of the Sefer Torah. It went from not being asur in hana to asur bahana. That's a physical change, says Tosfos. It's amazing chap. It's a very interesting concept for all of Shas. You didn't change anything. There's nothing. Under a microscope, they're both the same exact garment. But halachically, you made one into a makabel, into asur bahana, and that is a real change in terms of tumah. And that's why it's not makabel tumah anymore. All right. Says the Gemara.
It's all about the purpose.
Yeah, I mean, if you
change the purpose,
you change the halachic.
That changes the halacha when you change the purpose of the kli.
Right, you change the purpose of the kli. You went from a woman's garment to a Sefer Torah, and therefore it changed halachically in asur bahana, and therefore it's a physical change. Anyway, so back to the original question. On the one hand, we said that a bell on an animal is susceptible to kabel tumah, and now we're saying it's not, or vice versa. Says the Gemara, "Ha the islay imbal, ha the less bay, less lay imbal." What's an imbal? Here, this thing right over here. We all know what it is, but we need a picture today. That guy. This is a bell. Yeah? The ding-donger, the thing that makes the sound, that's the in-bell.
That's the in-bell.
In-bell, it's in the bell. Very nice. Oh, that's a good ha'ara, Avi. Keep to those ha'aras. It's in-bell. What's inside the bell that makes the noise? Gewaldig. So, if it like the islay imbel, if it has it, then it's mekabel tuma. If it doesn't have it, not mekabel tuma. Frag the Gemara, man of shach. Now, the Gemara understands right now that this bell. No, I'm still laughing from your joke. The Gemara understands that this bell is a noi. It's a tachshit. It's an ornament. So who cares if it has the imbel or doesn't have the imbel? How does that help my tachshit? It's a beautiful piece. Look, it's very nice even without it. It's still a tachshit. Because I have this little guy that makes it more of a tachshit. Manav shach, imanahu, if it's a kli, it's noi, afapidalas be'imbel. Ilav manahu, imbel mishavi le mana. Well, just because it has that little ding dong in it, it makes it a kli. Yes, it does. We're not talking about a tachshit. We're not talking about an ornament, jewelry for that. We're talking about that it actually makes noise and it becomes a kli, it becomes a valuable vessel of noise. How do we know that if a kli makes noise, it's susceptible to tumah? Shenemar called davar. So Gemara learns from this word davar. It's extra. Davar is like dibur, like talking. Called davar sheyavay be'esh tavir be'esh afilu dibur yavay be'esh. Even something that all it does is makes a sound. If that's its purpose, then that is a kli, and memela, it's mekabel tomo. You're telling me that if it doesn't have a ringer, the sound maker, then it's not mekabel tomo. So let's talk about the middle case of a slave. It says by a slave, a slave cannot go out with a bell on his neck. Remember, we spoke about a slave with a bell on his neck. But on the one on his clothing, we made a distinction. It was made by a professional, it was sewn in, not sewn in. And they're both mikabel tumah. But if it doesn't have the ringer, so why is it mikabel tumah? Oh, in the Beis Hamikdash, they had bells. They made sounds when they did the Ketores. Shakol yafal psamim. The sound was good for the psamim, so they had a bell. And they put on the baby's crib. They put bells, so when the baby woke up, it would move the crib, it would make a sound, put him back to sleep. Interesting, Rashi says, the Rebbe had to schlep his Torah, right? In those days it was made out of parchment, so he had bells on it, and every day he would take it home, and when he would go to school in the morning, he would walk by the houses, and Rebbe's going to school, and all the kids would run out and go to school. What?
It was so simple.
In those days it was simple. They didn't have recess. They went from morning to night and they stayed there and they didn't complain. They didn't have anything, no snacks. And a bib. By the way, yesterday I forgot to mention the kalta. Remember that thing that chokes a woman? That's actually a bib. I forgot to mention that it's a key word. It's a bib. If you looked at the picture of Yoni, it goes all the way down. On the top it had a choker. But it was really a bib, Rashi says. Anyway, so the babies had these bibs, the kids had the bibs, and they had bells on it. Yeshlam inbel tmeim. Yeah.
And it is a way to stop you, to prevent you from having, on Wiki, how to get rid of a double chin is don't wear a choker.
Really?
Yeah, I looked that up on.
You're saying that online it says something about chokers having to do with double chins, not having double chin. It's an old trick from those days, but it actually is relevant to today. Okay. Then what? If you wear a choker, you do have a double chin?
No, this is like, how can I get rid of my double chin?
Yeah.
Or try to get rid of their double chin. It's not in style today.
So don't have a double chin. Don't wear a choker.
Don't wear a choker.
Don't wear a choker if you don't want to. Okay.
Don't wear a choker.
So, but in those days they wanted a double chin, so they wore a choker. Very good. Anyway, it says like this: Yesh lam inbel tmeim, ein lahem inbel tahirim. It says mafurish that if it doesn't have the ding donger, then it's tar. But you're telling me that by a slave, if it doesn't have the thingy, it's tameh. So that's the question is from this line. Ein lahem inbel tahirim. Now, nitlu imbeleim adayin tumasam aleim. If you have a bell and you remove the imbel from it, it's still susceptible to tumah. Says the Gemara, so we have to answer. We have a question. If it doesn't have an imbel, it says it's tar. On the other hand, you say that if a slave has it, wears it without an imbel, it's tameh. What is it? Hanamid betinoik. Says the Gemara, there's two types of bells. They're made for two purposes. One is for the tinoik, and that's for sound. Why does a child have one? To sound, to put him to sleep, to bring him to cheder, whatever the reason, but it's sound. He's not wearing it to look good. The kol avidi, the same thing with a cow. I need the sound. I don't need him to look beautiful. Avogadol, but a slave, tachshiru lei, avogadol lei imbal. Why does a slave wear it? Not to know where the slave is, but for him to look good. Oh, so therefore he doesn't need the imbal. He doesn't need the sound. What he needs is the outside, the exterior. Omar mar nitlu imbaleim adayin tumasam aleim. Even if you remove the, what is it called in English? The imbal? How do you say imbal in English? In bell is the thing that makes noise. You don't have a thing yet. Okay. Here, look it up over here.
Ellen says it's called a clapper.
A clapper. Very good. Okay, a clapper. I would never know that. A clapper. You think, okay. It's one thing to another. One piece of metal to another is a clapper. Okay, makes sense. So if you don't have the clapper, you remove the clapper.
The clapper you remember is from the commercials.
Oh yeah, exactly. Here goes. Avi, you're limited to 3 things per share. Okay, but if it doesn't have a clapper, the thing that turns off the lights, the clapper, but what are you going to do with it? So what? You have the exterior part, but it's not a kli. It's like the Gemara understands it's a broken kli, right? We all know the halacha. If you have an oven and it's tameh, you want to get rid of the tumah. What do? You give it a good zetz, it breaks in pieces, and that it's not tameh anymore. So if I have a bell and I remove the clapper, I remove the imbel, it's not tameh anymore. It's a broken kli. Omar Abaya, Hoyel Shehedid Yochel Achziroi. One answer is Abaya. And he says, no, it's not considered broken because any person in the street could just take it and hang it in the bell, and you're back in business. That's one answer. Rava's answer we're going to see is because you could take the bell without the clapper and bang it on a piece of whatever, and it's going to make some sort of noise, and that's also good. Masav Rava. So Rava asked a question. Hazog va'im bel chibur. So we had a very similar sugi before. We're going to see it literally word for word. When you have two kalim connected, remember we had and we're going to have it soon, this that comes apart doesn't come apart if it's considered one kli or not, right? So the clapper and the actual bell is considered connected. If tumah touches the outside, tumah touches over here, the clapper becomes tamei. Tumah touches over here, the bell becomes tamei. It's chibur. Oh, so you see, what do you see from here? That if you don't, the Gemara understands if one is dependent on the other. Not like Abaye says, oh, since I could put it together, if they're not together, then they're not a bell. You need them to be together. They're so dependent on each other that if tumah touches one part, it's as if the other part became tamei. So if they're not together, then they're broken. Perhaps you'll say, oh no, it's so easy to put together again, then it's considered mechuber, it's considered connected. The Gemara has a bomb question on this. This guy, this scissors that comes apart, right? It's Cutco, you can get by Yeshua, Aaron Price, he sells Cutco. He gave a shout out. Okay? Look at this. The halacha is, we'll say about peh, the halacha is this is considered connected only when I'm using it. But as soon as I put it down, it's not even considered connected. If it's apart, it's not connected. So how can you tell me that if a bell, since I could connect it easily, and this also, look how easy it is to put together. Now it's back together again. If I could put it together, it's considered connected? It's not considered connected. Even if it's connected, it's not connected. Midaraisa. Even a scissors that could come apart, but if I'm not in the middle of using it, it's not connected. So if it's really not connected, the two pieces are apart, then certainly it's not connected. So what are you telling me? Oh, because I could put it together easily, it's considered halachically connected. That's not true. You guys remember this? We had that sugya. Well, daf memches. Mamish, these things. You have the carpenter's plane, and in here you have this blade that goes in. So they're considered connected when chibur l'tumah. If you touch one part, the other part is tamei. Vein chibur la'azah. But to sprinkle the ashes of the paraduma, you have to sprinkle both parts. We said at the end it's l'chumra. And we asked the question: if they're considered connected, afilu la'azah, then it should work even when you sprinkle. So we answered back then in Daf Memches. Midaraisa is considered a chibur regardless. For sprinkling, for tumah, it's always a chibur. But it has to be b'shas melacha while you're working it. But if it's sitting on the shelf, it's not connected at all. They're not considered connected. They made a gzeira, always l'chumra. So when it goes to tumah, we always say they're considered connected. Everything becomes tamei. And when it comes to hazah, which is the chumra, is the opposite. We don't want it to become tar, so we say everything is considered not connected. Whether you're working it, not working it, we always made l'chumra. The bottom line is that you see that when it's not being worked, let's say the scissors, you're not working it, it's considered disconnected. So certainly a bell that's physically disconnected should be considered disconnected and not mechuber. Elo marava. So going back to the original question, what's the question? If the bell doesn't have a clapper, it says it's mekabel tumah, but why? Why? What purpose does this serve without a clapper? That's the Gemara's question. Abaye says, okay, because I could put it back together easily. It serves a great purpose. It's still a bell. If I want to call my kids, I want to say that recess is over, I take this and I bang it against the table and it makes a sound. Now, it's not going to make the beautiful sound of a bell, but nevertheless, it's a sound. So Rashi says, very interesting. We had a similar thing. If a guy has a basket and has a big hole in it, it's still Mekabel Tumah. Why? Because it could still hold pomegranates. Up to a hole the size of a pomegranate. In other words, it's not the greatest basket in the world, but it serves some sort of purpose. So to this bell, it's not the greatest bell in the world, but it serves the purpose of making some sort of sound. Or Rabbi Yochanan, I can use the clapper, the bell, and flip it over and use it as a cup to give water to a child. Noam, take it away, please.